That's frightening.
I can't hear you now, Matt.
I can't hear him either. Does that mean I can say whatever I want and you can't rebuttal?
This is your time.
He looks like Lex Luthor in that graphic. Or Dr. Eggman if Dr. Eggman lost a bit of weight.
I really want to understand your references, but I've got no idea what you're talking about.
Ah, Lex Luthor is a badass DC World villain, and Dr. Eggman is the bad guy in Sonic the Hedgehog.
So I haven't played Sonic the Hedgehog since it was on the Mega Drive.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
welcome back to the stream. My name is MilkshakeMatty.
Hi, I'm Paula Talks Crypto.
And today we are doing a live stream with the UK award-winning #1 crypto accountant of the year. His name's
Jamie Nuttall, aka Crypto Tax JME.
Yes. So we've got a good relationship with Jamie. We've done many streams with Jamie over on TikTok. He's also done live streams inside our private community to support our community members. And today's the first time that we have brought Jamie over to YouTube. We have been making content in preparation for this and asking for you guys to put comments on videos and streams and all sorts. And Paula has very kindly collated those. And today we're going to be asking him all the questions that we've got in advance. If we think of any along the way, we're going to be asking him those as well. And then if you guys have any questions that you want us to answer in, get them in the comments and I can pin them onto the screen when that time's right during this stream. And for those of you that are new to me or Paula, whichever stream that you're watching us on right now, if you go to the description of this video, you'll see a link to the other one of us. So you can come and subscribe to both of us. And for the Wolfpack members, you guys already know this. And if you're from my TikTok, you're already going to know this. But if you guys feel like that you have a need for a crypto accountant, there is a link in the description of this video where, because you are either a Wolfpack member or one of our subscribers, you're going to get a free consultation with Jamie or one of his team to make sure they're going to assess you to see, first of all, if you have a need for a crypto accountant, and then if you do, what kind of money they can try and save you. There's a link in the description for that. So, Jamie, welcome back to the Tinterweb.
Thank you for joining us today. It's an absolute pleasure. So we've been making some videos, and the first video that I put out about these changes that are coming up in the UK, January 2026, went a bit crazy, if I'm honest. I wasn't expecting the responses I had, and some people were asking some amazing questions, but some people were wild in the things that they were saying, and it was clear to me that there's a real need for clarity around this, because we know we have to report now, we know there's going to be changes, but I don't think everybody really understands what is going to trigger a taxable event. So maybe that's something you could explain before we even dive into the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think you're referring to CARF, the Crypto Asset Reporting Framework that's coming in. And although it's coming in January 2026, technically speaking, that's when they're going to start collating data. So that little nuance there might give people a little bit of breathing room. But yeah, if you need to do something with HMRC, you need to do it regardless at the end of the day. But going back to your original question of what is a taxable event, the short answer is everything is a taxable event unless it is an acquisition of crypto assets via purchase. If you are, let's say you guys are paying me 1 Bitcoin, thank you very much for that. For this, that would be a taxable event, even though I'm acquiring it because it's due to, say, self-employment or it's in pay in lieu of service. So even that can be a taxable event. We got the usual swaps, trades, gifts. Even if you lost it in a boating accident, it's a disposal. Okay?
Yeah.
The only thing really that isn't, like I said, is either acquiring by way of purchase or if you're just hodling. And even then, if you're staking that, there's a taxable event every time you receive staking rewards. So mostly everything apart from hodling will have some form of potential tax implication.
Paula, would you like me to pin some of these comments now to get them out of the way, or do you want to go into the questions that you've got there? I'll let you pick.
Well, let's do a couple of the questions that we've got, and then we'll go through some of the comments from the stream now. So there was some really good ones. I've shared these with Jamie so that he knows some of the comments that have been coming through. So I'm going to pick out a couple. First one I want to say is somebody said apparently they can track back 6 years if they choose to. Is that right?
So they're referring to HMRC. So basically, HMRC you can go back 2 years at any point to deal with things, full stop. If you're considered to be careless, then it's up to 4 years. And if you're beyond that, it's 6 years. They can go back for anything to do with taxes. Now, they can technically go back to 20 years if they open it under discovery. And in some situations, if it's really bad, there's just no limit to it. So 6 years, yeah, in some occasions, and in even rare occasions, it could basically be everything from a tax perspective.
Okay, so just explain to me when we get this, when CARF is implemented, and it's about the collection of data. What are HMRC going to be doing in order to be able to collect that data? What's going to change from their end?
So they would just get the legal power to request from RCASP, which is basically your centralized exchanges, brokers, anyone that deals with your crypto from a central perspective. If in the case where they have a need to request for the data, they can legally acquire it. So it's not like they automatically get it, and it's not necessarily that they're going to definitely get it every time, but there'll be a lot more legal backing behind it. So if they suspect there's some form of tax evasion, let's say, for example, they should be able to gather that data in itself.
Okay. And the other thing that a lot of people have said in a very flippant way is, I'm just going to move all my crypto onto a cold wallet. They won't know.
I used to get so many of them on TikTok saying that.
So they're not completely wrong. But number one, that's just evading tax completely in itself, and is illegal for starters, if they have an obligation to report and or pay. And number two, if you think about it, knowing that HMRC can see, say, the centralized exchanges, but they can't see your self-custody wallets, that means that when you send assets from your centralized exchanges to said cold wallets, HMRC are going to see a disposal. So that might just trigger a whole new different reason as to why they should look into you. This is a great comment, because I think this is the number one issue that we'll find with CARF, is that you'll have occasions where people will come to me and say, hey, Jamie, I'm in a situation. HMRC are saying I made, I don't know, 50, £100,000 worth of disposals when I haven't. And that is because HMRC won't know about the decentralized wallets, so the self-custody wallet, as an example, and it would create that problem, which then they'd have to go, okay, let's prove that you didn't do it, or you did do it and it's not a taxable event, and then they'll have to pay for someone like me to deal with it anyway. It's really not good.
Yeah. So I think the reality is that if we trigger something with HMRC to say we think HMRC thinks there's a problem, then they're going to open an investigation, and then you have to then be responsible for proving or disproving whether or not you owe that tax.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So, Paula, one second. What I've done is, just so you know, as questions are coming through, I'll put them into a favorite folder, because I've got this special folder I can target.
Awesome.
So how about you do every other one? One for you, one for the comments, one for you, one for the comments.
Yeah. Do you want to pop a comment?
Yeah. I'll do one now. So the first one at the top was saying, I mentioned on Matty's channel that I need to do some serious backtracking. Hang on, let me put it on the screen actually. One sec. There you go. I need to do some serious backtracking. I'd like to know how lenient HMRC are going to be with first timers. That's a great question, actually.
Yeah, so backtracking is fine. I would say most cases where someone comes to me, there's going to be some form of backtracking. So this is the norm, people trying to get it right. Is there leniency? Yes and no. So there would be penalties and interests for anything that is late with HMRC. However, if you have a legitimate reason, or what is known as a reasonable excuse, they could remove the penalties proportion, which means that you'd only pay interest. So if let's say your tax was due 2 years ago, you'd pay interest on that for every day, month, year that it is late, and that is it. So the leniency is there, but you still have to pay interest. If you're wondering, the interest is 5% above base rate, so that's roughly 7% per annum at the moment.
Brilliant. Go for it, Paula.
Awesome. Okay, so I've bought and held. That's it. If you make a profit of more than £3,000 here in the UK, they will tax anything over that 3K. Is that right, Jamie?
Yeah, I would use the term gains rather than profits, just to be tax specific. But yeah, pretty much if you buy and hold, as long as you're not staking, there shouldn't be any tax implications. If you then dispose of the assets and the gains, not the proceeds, the gains are within £3,000 from 2025 onwards, then you should also be okay. Prior to this, it was £6,000 per year, and prior to that, it's £12,300 in case you need to do some backtracking and reconciliation.
Yeah, because that is the capital gains threshold now in the UK, isn't it?
Correct, the annual exempt amount.
Awesome.
Got another one. This is from The Drawback. I like the name, by the way. The Drawback is saying, I'd also like something. This explaining to me like I'm 5. I like it when people start something like that. It's good. I bought coins at all various prices. How do I possibly work out the profit on differing prices? Please explain.
Okay, number one, you hire someone like me, we'll do it for you. You don't need to worry. Number two, you use software. Now, tax software for crypto tax software doesn't work in its entirety, but this is the one thing it does extremely well, and it should do it for you. Number three, how does it work? Like mechanically, it's called Section 104 pooling, which means you get the average cost for all of that. So if you bought one coin at £5, another coin at say £10, and then the last one at £15, you'd add them all up. In this case, it would be £30, and you have 3 coins. So that means per coin, the average cost is £10. Now, there's a little bit more within all that for the first 1-day rule and 30-day rules, but that's the general idea of it.
Good. So I would like to say to everybody that there is also a piece of software called Coinly. It's completely free to use. If you go to MilkshakeMatty.com, there is something in that big list of stuff that I've got. It's called Coinly. It's completely free to use, and it's basically a coin tracker. But it's got a really cool feature, which is that you can either let your accountant log into it through the back end should you need an accountant. Alternatively, if your accounting is actually quite simple because you've been buying and selling and it's really simple and there's nothing overly complex in there, or you're at quite a low level and you don't think you need an accountant, you can pay about 60 to 70 or 60 to 100 quid, something around that kind of figure, and you can get a tax ready document. And basically what you do is you link up your exchanges, you link up your coastal wallets on a read-only mode, it feeds it in, and then it does it. And there are tweaks that need doing. And Jamie will tell you that it's not perfect, because he does it every day as a job, and he must get people land going, here's my really complex situation. I've got Coinly. It's going to be really easy, Jamie. And Jamie's probably going to go, no, because it's not that simple. Because I know this, because I've done many streams with him, okay? But listen, if you've got a relatively simple portfolio, or you think you would just like to use that tool just so you can see your stats, then go to MilkshakeMatty.com, go and click on the Coinly link. It's spelled with a K from memory. And you can go and use it completely free. So you can use that coin tracking and that average, and it'll work out all your profits and losses and everything for you live on screen. And as the prices go up and down, it changes on your screen live, which is a pretty cool feature. But it's a good stepping stone to getting your tax ready. This is not a total solution. If you need a tax advisor, then Jamie's your guy. But for a good first stepping stone, would you agree with that, what I said there, mate?
Yeah, 100%. The analogy I tend to use is, say you've got a big old garden and you buy the fanciest of lawnmowers. Now, and then you just plug it in and leave it. How well is your garden going to get done? It's just probably not going to get done at all. Maybe that one patch you put it on. So you have to really push it. You have to use the tool.
Yeah.
So this is a tool to be used and not to be solely relied upon in its entirety.
Lovely. Yeah. Go for it, Paula.
Awesome. I think following on from that, I had a comment. It said, if you bought, say, 10 Bitcoin over several years in varying amounts and prices, and you decide to sell 5 Bitcoin, the profit you report varies depending on which Bitcoin you actually sell. I'm guessing the different prices you bought it at. So what cost basis is HMRC expecting you to use? Having done that, would the next step be to deduct allowable losses?
Yeah, so unlike NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, Bitcoin, other tokens and coins are fungible, which means that my Bitcoin, your Bitcoin are exactly the same, okay? For tax purposes, there's no difference between it. You can mix them apart, doesn't matter. So by determining which Bitcoin you're going to use as a base cost is incorrect. As mentioned earlier on, you just take all of the Bitcoin, all of the costs, and you get the average costs to deal with that to find out your base cost. Now, like I said, the caveat is that there's certain nuances if you were to buy and sell within a day and then 30 days as well. But the general idea is the average cost across that. I think the US have something like FIFO or LIFO, first in, first out, last in, last out. We don't have that in the UK. We have the average cost.
Okay, awesome.
Next one, Paula, do you want me to do it?
Yeah, from the comments.
Marky Mark, this is a Crypto Wolfpack member, and he's saying, I'll be using the Wolfpack automation soon. Is there, yeah, come on, man. By the way, he's in the POC group. He says, is there anything I should do or set up beforehand?
From a tax perspective, maybe I would say if you can ring fence that to its own wallet, that might be helpful if possible.
It is.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's a good start. I say that just because it might be deemed as a trade in some situations. So if it is, that helps. And if it isn't, it doesn't matter. That's pretty much it. If you're worried about if it's going to be under the income tax regime or the capital gains tax regime, I would probably get some official advice on it, because depending on the automations, how you do things, what you do, it could swing it possibly. But apart from that, you should be good to go.
So Jamie, as the automation goes down its path and we start getting to some serious cash, I want to get you into the Wolfpack, to those particular people, talk to them.
Done.
And then those that feel the need to use you will use you. Those that are brave enough to go alone, let them go alone. But as long as you give them the information, so they've got the facts of the risks, the exposure, what their obligation is, we can only put you in front of them, Jamie. But I think if anybody has got a need from the Wolfpack, you need to talk to Jamie. But let me just
I think just on that, Matt, for those people that are tuning in through YouTube, the Crypto Wolfpack is our community that we have set up. It's an awesome space actually for people that are either holding spot or trading or doing a bit of both, because it creates a community where you can interact with other people in this space. Because what we've realized is crypto is actually a pretty lonely place. Unless your best friend is really into crypto,
you're my best friend.
Who do you talk to?
You're my best friend.
Which one? Which one of us? Which one?
Well, one of you make me dinner. So.
Unless you've got somebody in your real day-to-day life that you can talk about these things with, it can be a real lonely place. And obviously we've got the education. We've got loads of courses for you guys to do. We've got trading signals that come out. But the major part of the Crypto Wolfpack is the community element, the live streams where we all get on the stream and actually talk about the things that are going on in real life, whether that's markets, whether that's macros, whether that is just actually, do you know what, nothing to do with the crypto community and just that community vibe, because people need that group. And it's just for normal people that are investing in crypto. So if that is you, go and check out the link. It's an amazing place to be, and if you use the promo code live25, you will get 25% off your first month's subscription.
Come on, that was flawless, Paula. Loved it.
Thanks, appreciate that.
Right, go for it.
Okay, I've got another one here, and this seems to be another common theme with people, and it is just to move away from the UK. So somebody here is saying, what if I move to Dubai?
So a very simple question with a lot of nuances there.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you move away from the UK to, say, Dubai, for example, and I believe Dubai has a zero capital gains tax rate, which means that you will stop paying UK taxes potentially from the moment you go, maybe from the following tax year. Now, there are certain things, for example, if you were to buy the asset while UK tax resident, it would be considered a UK asset upon purchase, which means that if you were to fall back into the UK system within 5 years, for any reason, everything is to be considered as if you never left. So that's one thing to watch out for. If you were to buy assets while you're not a UK tax resident and then come back within a year, that would also be within the scope of UK taxes potentially. So you can see how the assets bought while UK tax resident and then the assets bought while non-UK tax resident might need to be separated, because you'd be in a situation where you come back in year 3. So that's, say, year 2 assets that you bought while non-UK tax resident could still be outside the scope of UK taxes. And that's the tip of the iceberg. So there's lots going around that. It's absolutely possible. It's what a lot of people are talking about. And luckily, yesterday in the budget, I was expecting them to talk about exit tax to some degree.
So were we. Yeah.
And they didn't, because we have a robust statutory residency test, which I can't see them getting rid of anytime soon. It's very good. And this exit tax would completely ruin it. So, possible. Lots and lots of pitfalls around it. So if you're thinking about doing something like that, definitely get advice, especially if you're looking about saving, hundreds of thousands of pounds in tax, if not more.
Yeah, and I think probably what I want to say in there is just not being a UK tax resident isn't as simple as it sounds. So if that is your plan long term, you probably need to speak to somebody like yourself to make sure that whoever is going to move knows their obligations around that, knows what they need to do, what they don't need to do, because you don't want to just move and assume that cuts off your requirement to pay tax in the UK, because it's not quite as simple as that from what I understand.
Yeah. It's the statutory residency test, which is what you want to start at. But yeah, there's loads of stuff around it.
Yeah. Okay, Matt, have we got more comments?
We've got loads, mate. They're queued up now. So The next one, when you answer this, can you also cover that swapping for one crypto for another can also count as a sale? Because so many people don't get this, or do you understand? So now you see the question, you'll understand why I'm saying this. I get this one all the time. I get it all the time. They go, I haven't sold anything. I'm like, brother or sister, you have.
So, yeah. So we can't get taxed if I don't sell. Yes, that is true. But as Matt said, remember, you swapping, say, XRP for Bitcoin, you are selling your XRP, categorically selling it. So that counts, by the way. So yes, the way I like to say is, if I hodl, it is not a taxable event, rather than if I don't sell, because sell is, like you said, you need to be very clear that any disposal, i.e. the sale of XRP for Bitcoin, doesn't matter what you receive for it. If you get rid of it, if the quantity of your assets go down, you need to think why, because it's a disposal of some kind. Now, if you were to give your wife some Bitcoin, let's say, the amount of Bitcoin you have goes down, and you go, it's a disposal, but it's for my wife, husband, civil partner, therefore it's non-taxable. So yes, if you can't get taxed if you don't sell is correct, as long as you're aware that swapping, trading, all counts as a sale.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important kind of mindset to get yourself into, because people don't very often see swapping as selling, but it definitely is a taxable event, and that is something you have to report, all taxable events. Okay, let's just go through another one here. I live in France.
Anybody hear an aeroplane?
Yes.
Just checking.
Is that yeah? I live in France and receive a pension in the UK, so my tax reporting is slightly mixed. Can I choose to report all my crypto transactions in France, as I think it might be simpler for me, as simple as French administration can be?
So I tend to stay away from international issues, but this should be fairly straightforward. According to the UK tax law, if they are not a UK tax resident, which it doesn't sound like they are, their crypto assets are deemed to be situated based on where the individual is a tax resident. So it won't be taxable in the UK. And according to the UK's eyes, at least, it should be taxable in France. Whether the French agree to that or not is different. But according to the UK side of things, I would say that, there's no obligation for the UK, unless, of course, you've left the UK recently, and then you might come back into the UK tax system. When we're talking about moving to Dubai, that example, then it could be. But chances are it won't be taxable in the UK, even if you wanted it to be.
Okay. Matty?
Yeah, I'm just picking one, because the top one was a duplicate one.
That's his concentrating face.
That's my concentrating face, yeah. So if I lived in the UK, I would take profit through staking and maybe use an LLC.
This is something that we see quite often, don't we? Set up a company and then I've got different obligations.
Please tell them about this, because so many of the Wolfpack members keep mentioning this to me, and I'm like, it's not that simple. So go for it.
So if the LLC owns the crypto, then the LLC would be subject to taxes on the staking rewards. That's fine. The question is, do you want that to happen or not? So staking rewards can be taxed at a maximum on the individual at 45% tax.
Whoosh.
With a limited company, it would be a maximum of 25%. And then if you were to use it personally, so you actually want to use some of that for your day-to-day or whatever it might be, the maximum dividends tax at the moment is 39.35, I believe. Wow. And it should be going up to 40 or 41.35 based on the budget yesterday. I'm seeing contradicting information, but it should go up by 2 points. So without really doing much maths, you can probably gather that is not as tax efficient, usually speaking. On top of this, your limited company accountancy fees should be more complicated, will be more expensive than your personal tax stuff anyway. So even if it was more beneficial, that margin might be very small. So in most cases, you don't want to do that. And I know that wasn't really a question, it's more of a statement, but I thought I'd just break that down, that for the average person, you probably don't want to do that in most cases.
So I think off the back of that question, I've seen a lot of comments to kind of say, it seems more favourable to have a company holding crypto, even if we just looked at the proposed stablecoin legislation that's coming in around the caps. But I think we need to probably cover, if you're going to move your personal crypto into a company, what are the obligations that you then have? Because it's not just as easy as that, is it?
Disposal. It's a
disposal. Yeah.
Yeah, because you are basically selling your crypto to your a company, and at that point you're due the tax anyway. I was trying to explain this to somebody in the Wolfpack, and I could see them glaze over as I was telling them. And it was a late night stream, and it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, so I didn't want to push it, but I could see they either didn't think I was right, or they didn't want to hear it. It was one or the other. So I backed off a little bit, but I was like, it's not that simple, brother. It's not that simple.
Yeah, so say I were to put some Bitcoin into my company, it would be a disposal, and then you'll calculate if there's taxes or not. Now, if I just bought the Bitcoin today and then disposed of it, that taxable, the tax on it will be minuscule because of the variation in price from the point I bought it to the point I disposed of it into the company. Or if I have a company that's already generating funds and it bought it itself, that's fine. And that's the angle that I took with my answer, which puts it in a better position. But yes, if you've held crypto for a while and have all sorts going on, and then you move it into the company, you've got that added issue of it's a disposal because you and your company are two separate entities. That's the whole point of the situation. Therefore, it's just the same as if you sold it for fiat.
Yeah, and I think the reality is if anybody's looking to set up a company because they want to make their tax more efficient, probably speak to somebody like you, Jamie, before they do that.
Not like Jamie. Speak to Jamie.
Speak to Jamie, yeah, exactly. Because the reality is that you're going to have all different kinds of obligations of reporting when you've got a company rather than personal, and then you're probably still going to have to report your personal stuff anyway. So I think people just need to, before they jump into decisions like that, go and speak to you, go and get the advice, and actually work out whether or not that is worth doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you commented on the GBP regulations that are coming in around stablecoins, and the limit for companies being 1 million unless they have specific approval for more, and the individual between 10 and 20,000. Now, honestly, I think that's a bit of a moot point that people are worrying about, because it's only for certain stablecoins that are backed by GBP, which I'll be honest with you, and I ask everyone, all the viewers, to be honest now and comment on them, out loud. Do you have any GBP backed stablecoins?
I know.
I use USDC. I do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah. Well, that was the first thing that I saw when they released the stablecoin rulebook, was that it was sterling-based stablecoins, and at the moment there are no real big sterling stablecoins, are there? So it's a moot point, really.
It's just certain ones if they meet certain criteria. So I think it was a lot of air really from them.
Yeah, well, I think that the UK were desperately just trying to keep up with the US and trying to work on the same kind of framework and timeline that the US is going to be implementing this, because US regulation is going to be probably influential globally, and I think the UK just want to be seen to be keeping a similar timeline to that. But we all know that everybody trades crypto in US dollars, so yeah. Okay, Matt, do you want to do another comment?
Yeah. Okay. So this one's deep. Oh. They said they invested 100 grand in crypto, and unfortunately they're down 50% at the moment. What will happen in my situation? It's not doom and gloom. Jamie's going to tell you that.
Yeah. So sorry you got wrecked, for starters. Like, we've all been there. And the bottom line is, you need to figure out if it's realized or unrealized losses. So, for example, it says you're down 50%. Let's say you bought £100,000 worth of token A, for example, and it's now worth £50,000. That doesn't mean that you have any obligation to report anything, because you haven't created the loss or gain. It's just sat there waiting to be realized or unrealized. To be realized as an unrealized loss. However, if you're in a situation where you have that sold that token A for 50,000 and bought £50,000 worth of token B, you have crystallized £50,000 worth of losses. Now, the reason why this is important is you have 4 years to declare those losses. So if this is in 22, and if this is before April as well, 22, that means you have until April 2026, so not very long, to declare those losses before they're gone forever. So step 1, are they realized or not? If they're not realized, nothing to do for now. Step 2, if they are realized, then you're going to have to make sure and determine when it was realized, because it might have been throughout the years. It might not be in a simple all-in-one go type situation, and therefore you have to make sure you declare them within 4 years, otherwise they're lost. Now, I've seen a situation before, and many times in fact, where a client's gone, oh, I have £50,000 losses, but I also made £50,000 gains, so it's net zero. I was like, yeah, you're probably right. Oh, look, that £50,000 loss, you can't declare it anymore. It's beyond 4 years. So therefore, you still have to pay taxes on your 50 grand. And he's like, well, that's not fair. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I'm just the messenger here. So be careful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think jumping on the back of that, slightly different, but still on the same theme. Somebody has commented to say, I've unfortunately fallen foul to a fake crypto company that took me for thousands. I've fallen for a romance scam. I think there's a lot of those out there. I've been scammed out of a substantial amount of crypto. Am I able to write this off against my taxes? I guess it needs to be declared.
So
if you can prove it.
HMRC doesn't like this, but it is possible. So firstly, it's a disposal.
Oh wow! Yeah. You could be liable for the tax on the rob.
So you would be liable for taxes unless you created a loss. And then what you technically have is a receipt for whatever they promised you in return for whatever you put in, which would be a disposal. That receipt would be valued at whatever the market value is that you went in, for example. And then you've been scammed, so that receipt is now worthless. It is of negligible value. Now, if you can prove that, I would also advise you to get a police report, so action fraud, for example, so you get it fully reported, you get some legal backing or some paperwork backing behind it all. You may be in a situation where this receipt that cost you, say, 50 grand, that is now worth zero, you might be able to make a negligible value claim on that to effectively write it off. So that gain that you could have created upon entering that contract would be removed and some. So you would be basically, it's a weird way around it, but you would end up where you can write it off as a relief. So it's a little bit complicated, and HMRC don't like it. But yeah, if you've genuinely received a receipt for something that's now worth nothing and it cost you 50 grand, you can make an NVC. It's just proving that that's the case, if that makes sense.
So I think I just probably want to reiterate this point here to say, if you have been scammed for your crypto and you are in a loss, go and speak to Jamie, because there might be something that you can do that's not going to give you the obligation to have to pay the tax.
Especially if it's significant. Obviously, if you've lost $200, you might just have to write it off to experience. If you've been done for 50 grand, 20 grand, 100 grand, or as one guy that I interviewed once, £1 million, you need to talk to somebody, because hopefully there can be some positive light that come out at the end of that, even if it means you're going to offset future tax.
Yeah, absolutely. And just on that point, I kind of want to say scams are rife in crypto. Keep your crypto safe, keep your capital safe, protect it, get it off the exchanges. They are notorious for either closing down or getting hacked. We are all sitting here with our Tangem rings on. The link
That's unbelievable.
for Tangem, which is a fantastic cold store wallet, is in the description. Go and use the discount codes that are there to give you an extra 10% off. At the moment, Tangem have got a Black Friday sale. You can multi-layer the promo code, so put their promo code on that they've got in the website and add in the additional ones that are in the description of this video below, because Tangem are very proud to say that they have never had their exchanges hacked at distance. So they haven't.
Nobody has ever lost their crypto
wallets.
From a distance hack on their wallet. Has anybody been robbed before by them handing over their keys? Probably. Has anybody been robbed before because they gave away their Tangem and their devices? Probably. But the point is, most people don't get robbed like that. Most people don't get robbed because people climb through your bedroom window in the middle of the night. Most people get robbed through gutless cyber attacks from a very big distance, and that is what you're being protected from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So not even one single USDT, not even $1. So they are really, really proud of their stats for that. They're really proud of the security of the back end of Tangem. We highly rate them. They're very easy to use. I know that not all of this tech in crypto is easy to use, but I can't speak highly enough of Tangem. So if you have got your crypto on an exchange somewhere, if you've got it on a hot wallet, get it on a cold storage device, and Tangem is the one that, as you can see, we all love.
So I think I wanted to add something to that as well. So as content creators, everybody knows that brands will ask you to do things for them for money, right? So let me make things very, very clear. Oh, that was weird. The sound just went. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Brands contact me all the time, especially around wallets. I've been contacted by 2 wallet companies in the last 3 days. That's just now. And they offer me considerably more money than the affiliate link give me from Tangem. But Tangem, I know, is the safest option for you guys. So when we're asking you to use our links, do we benefit from that? Yes, we do. It probably gets me a McDonald's. It's true. If I asked you to go to other companies, or we were putting their brands up here, well, one of them today was offering me $50 per sale, right? This is not about money for us. Yes, it supports the channel. Yes, it helps our growth, but it's not about that. We all use Tangems ourselves. It is by far the most premium product out there, in my opinion. But listen, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like clicking links, you can go and find the Tangem website yourself. It's actually tangem.com, but go and find it yourself. And then at checkout, there's a promo code section. You can either type in MilkshakeMatty if you love me, or you can type in Paula if you love Paula. But please use mine, because we're cool. Oh, Jamie's as well.
Oh, Jamie's got one as well.
What's yours, Jamie?
Just crypto tax day of me, but
there's too many spelling errors in that. Just use MilkshakeMatty, it's fine.
Paula, nice and easy. 5 letters.
But the point I'm making, guys, listen, we believe in that product, and that's why we promote it. Right.
Actually, on that note, before you move on, Matt, when you scroll down to the description of our videos, there are affiliate links that are there. These are products that we are using on a day-to-day basis. They are ones that we believe in. As Matt said, we get so many people that are contacting us to try and work with us, but we want to give you guys access to the products that we believe in and that we're using on a day-to-day basis. So go and check out the affiliate links that we've got. We really believe in those products, and we'd love your feedback as well.
Yeah, Mum. And thanks to everybody that does use our links, because it supports the channel, helps with our growth. So we appreciate every single one of you. Yeah. Should we go and get another thing? This is a good one. How about gains and losses from swaps? How is that evaluated, Jamie?
Same concept. If you have bought, say, £50,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then you traded all of it when it's worth £70,000 for £70,000 worth of Ethereum, that's a £20,000 gain. Again, software will help.
Yeah, Mum.
Yeah.
Do you want me to do another one?
Just on the back of that, I've got a comment here, and it says, are the fees taken by the exchange and the wallet transfer tax deductible?
Yes.
Good.
That's why you need good accounting.
Yeah.
Or good records for your accountant to use. That's probably a better way
really good records. Yeah, exactly.
This works one is from a Wolfpack member. This is Lips. And Lips, I promise you, I'm going to edit your video at some point this evening. So, by the way, those of you who don't know Lips, Lips is a Wolfpack member, and he has made us a training video on Fibonacci. My guy. I'm going to edit that for him this evening. Here he is. Anyway, there's his question. If you haven't made more than £3,000 worth in gains, then do you need to even put in a self-assessment? By the way, before you answer that, he's in the automation POC group as well. So this question is well out the window for him very soon, but go for it.
No. If you already do a self-assessment, and your proceeds are over £50,000, then you should include it. But if it's under £33,000 gains, and that's the only reason you might be doing a self-assessment, then no.
Awesome.
Do you want me to do another one?
Yeah, do another one.
I think this is another Wolfpack member. I swear this one's a Wolfpack member as well. And I get asked this one, Jamie, all the time. Because of the demographic that quite often I get attracted to me, it tends to be family-aged people. And it's quite a common, like the way I worded that. Listen, I'm hardly a thirst trap for the young women, am I? Like, let's face it, like, do you know what I mean? They're not going, oh, he's sexy.
I think you're very sexy, babe.
I appreciate it. I think you're sexy too. But yeah, what's the best way?
like
What's the
mum
best?
and dad. It's disgusting. No, I don't want to hear any of it.
What's the best way to give crypto to your kids, and how much tax would they pay? Great question. I get asked this all the time, by the way. All the time. At least once a week I get asked this.
So there's two things I don't do, and that's inheritance tax and trust. That's not what I really do. And this kind of touches upon there, but very quickly. The problem with giving your kids crypto is, one, do they really have it? And if so, how do you prove that? Maybe a trust is a solution for that. Let's say you get around that. If the asset that you gift your children generates income, until they are of age, it is taxable on the parents. Okay, so if you give them, say, I don't know, Ethereum, and you get staking rewards from it, those staking rewards will be taxable on the parents. If a grandparent were to do the same thing, it wouldn't be taxable on the parent or the grandparent. It would all be on the child, for starters. Okay. How much tax would they pay? It would be the same situation as anyone else.
When they dispose, right?
Yeah, it's just exactly the same. No difference at all, apart from if they were getting staking rewards, let's say, so it's income generating. The problem is, how do you prove that it's theirs? Because let's be honest, they probably don't even know about it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So an idea could be, you let's say you have a Tangent wallet, crypto tax JME, and you and that
Nice.
is genuinely in their name. You could just buy the crypto directly into there, and it would be a gift of the cash value, if you like, and then there would be inheritance tax implications and all sorts, which I'm not going to comment on. But yeah, it's fairly straightforward. It's just, unless you're talking a lot of money, and then there'll be other solutions, it's probably not worth really looking into just yet.
So I've got a question for you. This is actually a live question from me to you in a real situation. I have just bought one of these for my grandson, right? I was thinking, if I send USDT into it, right? So it's not crypto. Well, it is crypto, but it's not a crypto that changes in price.
Stablecoin, yeah.
A stablecoin. And then inside there, I swap that stablecoin into XRP or whatever, and that's his, not mine. Does that work?
So the words you used were, if I send the stable coins to him, fine, and he owns this, fine, and then I swap it, doesn't sound like it's his, because you have access to that account.
Well, he's only one, so he can't use the computer yet.
Do you see the problem? Do you see the problem?
Okay, so that was a crap idea then, because we were going to give him this and then put stuff on it.
Okay, so I've got a better idea. Would you buy the crypto and just send it to the wallet and leave it there and not swap it and not do anything to trigger any taxable events?
And then I'll just class that as the disposal for me. So if I buy it and I send it, same day.
Shouldn't be any taxable implications there.
Yeah.
But okay. And then he won't cash out in that until I'm already not a UK tax resident and I won't care.
The problem is making sure that it's in his name and he has beneficial ownership.
So you don't register a wallet in your own name. They're non-KYC.
Exactly. So HMRC, if they ever had a problem with it, would look at their case and go, okay, who has control of it? So you need to mitigate that problem, because they could quite comfortably say, you bought it, you transferred it, you know the seed phrase, or you have access to it, it's yours, and you have to go, no, hold on, no, it's not. Let me prove it. So
what about if I've got a document written up between me and the parent, especially the dad, to say, I have bought the child this, there's the whatever we need to put in a document, signed, so it's there officially in his name. What about that?
So that would help. I would say this is the sort of thing you want to go to a lawyer for. What you're looking at is probably a declaration of trust or something along those lines, which is a legal document to ascertain exactly that.
Okay.
But yeah, that could work, and if certain things are in place.
Sounds good. You got another question, Paula? Because I've got loads backing up here.
So a lot of the comments that I've had have been covered by other questions. So I'm happy for you to go through the comments on the live today.
So we've already just done that one. So that was about the best way to give crypto to your kids. We've just done that one.
Yeah, somebody here saying clear information, guys. Yeah, I appreciate it. And that's why we're doing this today, because the more information you've got, the more armed you are. And we're also sending you this way. over to Jamie. If you think that things are more complex than you've got a handle on, go and get some advice.
Bosh. I get asked this one all the time as well, and I'll tell you. Can I tell you what my answer is to them, and then you can tell me if it's in the right ballpark?
This is my favourite game. My favourite game.
I've got better over time. Like, I feel like I've
have
learned
you
so much.
taught Matt well enough?
No, literally, I'm like his protege. He's turning me into milkshake tax man. Right? Okay. So I always say to people, it's the problem you've got is the rules change. So you're trying to plan for an event where by the time you move, it might have changed, and while you're away, it might change. But as it stands right now, I think as long as you've got no base here in the UK and you've got no interest here, then you're good to go over that 5 years. But there is a drawback
so the
if you come back
comments
before
says,
that, I think.
You are liable for capital gains tax for 5 years if you move abroad and come back to the UK as a resident. When you're abroad, that first 5 years, will it depend on whether or not you've cut off your tax ties with the UK?
So that comment is not entirely true, but it does come from a source of truth. So each year, you have to do a statutory residence test to see if you are a UK tax resident in this situation. If for the 5 years you are not a UK tax resident, and then you come back, you should, in most situations, not be paying UK taxes for the whole period. So it's not a case of if you will definitely be paying taxes when you come back. You might, if you were UK tax resident for any of those 5 years once you do move. I look like Penfold from Danger Mouse. Can you get that on screen, Matty? Because
I just want to put it out here that when we started this stream, we didn't realise our mics were on, and me and Jamie were talking about the picture that Matt had put up. And Jamie, for those that missed it, what did you say that Matt looked like?
Either Lex Luthor or Dr. Eggman if he lost a little bit of weight.
And I was explaining I had no idea who he was talking about. So, yeah, he was just filling me in. So, yeah, we'll get that out. We didn't know our mics were on, but we do now.
Right, very quickly, just to cover this one. So, if you go into the description of this video, it doesn't matter if you're watching it on Milkshake Matty's channel or Paula Talks Crypto. In the description there is a link for you to be able to fill out a form to ask for a consultation. Now, consultation with Jamie would normally cost you XYZ, but if you are a Wolfpack member or one of our subscribers here on YouTube, then you get, as long as you qualify, then you get a free consultation with him. So go into the link in the description here, go and fill out the form.
Yeah.
But it's important when you fill out the form, you say that Milkshake Matty or Crypto Wolfpack have sent you there, and then his admin team, when they see it, won't try to send you a bill.
Absolutely. Sorry, Jamie, carry on.
I was just saying, when you're doing that, if you can give me as much information on your situation as possible, I might be able to skip the initial sort of 10-15 minute call and go straight to the full consultation. Especially now we're so close to the deadline, please do that. But if it's something a bit more softer, I do lots of collaborative work with Paula and Matty, so you'll see lots of stuff on there. But if you look up Crypto Tax JME on X, on YouTube, on TikTok, I will be all across there giving little snippets of information. And yes, if you need to use me and you're coming through these guys, use the links. Or if you can't find the links, just let me know and you'll still get the same deal. Okay? Yeah, either way, it just helps you guys.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
I've got one here.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say, before you move on, Matt, just for everybody that's watching us on this platform, you guys have been awesome, and the support that we've had since we've started our channels on here have been amazing. I know a lot of you have followed us from TikTok. Over there, we've had a huge viewers in the videos and the content that we've been making. But the reality is that actually we have really, really loved making long form content on this platform, and that's what we're going to do moving forward. So if you're not already subscribed to our channels, the links are in the description. Please go and do that. We absolutely appreciate your support, and if you're enjoying the content that we're putting out in the lives, make sure you like these lives. Make sure you hit that button, because it really lets the algorithm know that we're doing something right, and we'll push that out to more and more people, because this information that we're sharing is going to be so relevant to so many people.
I don't think we're oversharing, Paula. It's just to say that over on TikTok we would get up to 10 million views, north of 10 million views a month between us. Over here, obviously, it's much less because we've got new channels. Paula's only been making content for 4 or 5 weeks now here on YouTube. I did 4 weeks in April to May. Since then, I've done now 9 weeks back to back. And between us, in the last 28 days, we've had over 300,000 views here on YouTube. And I can't thank every single one of you that's been subscribing, liking, watching, sharing, doing whatever you're doing, because we've committed to 1 whole year on YouTube, making content every single day. Then we will look at it after 12 months and decide whether it was worth it. And right now it feels worth it. But if you guys can still keep helping us.
Awesome.
Oh, one more thing. If anybody ever sees the word hype under one of our videos, it's completely free.
Yes,
it's a brand new
hype.
system. So basically, everybody has the right twice a day to hype a video. And it gives the algorithm a boost to say, that was a good one. If you ever see a hype button below our videos, please press that button. The problem is YouTube haven't told people what it is. And most people are thinking it's a paid thing. You know, like you can send money to people on YouTube. Like a gift, isn't it? A bit like that. People think it's that. They're not pushing the button. It's totally free. Just press the button. It'll go, you've hyped that video. Please hype us. Right. I've got a question here, Jamie. Do you mind if I try and answer this one first? And you can tell me how close it was again? Because I love this game. Can I have a go? They said, question, if I live in the UK and Europe equally, would you need to pay tax in 2 different countries? Now, I think I know the answer to this because I've done a lot of research about emigrating out of the UK and tax residency. And I think it's about where you are the tax resident, not about how much time you spend where. That's what I think it is. So if you spend half your time in Spain and half your time in England and you're a tax resident in England, then you're paying your tax in England. That's what I think it is.
Can I just jump in? Because I think that there is a certain amount of days that you have to be in the UK to be a tax resident, or actually anywhere. I think you have to be in a certain country for a certain amount of time. Is that also in the mix?
You're both.
He hates this question. I can see it in his eyes. What is it about this question you don't like?
No. So before crypto, I specialized in this and property taxes. So it's a lot more complicated than that, guys.
Okay.
Oh.
So number one, you have to remember. You say Europe equally. Let's say Germany as an example. We need to be specific because Germany has their own set of rules as to what determines you as a German tax resident. So does the UK, so does France, so does everywhere in the world. So for starters, you need to look at the countries that you are living in and determine in relation to those countries if you are a tax resident. In some very rare cases, it says none, and that's when you're in a bit of a pickle. But in most cases, it'll be one or the other, nice and straightforward. In fact, in most cases, more likely situation is you could be taxed in both. And what that means at that point is you then need to determine who has the right to tax first, and then you need to look at the double taxation treaty between the countries, because in most situations, especially if UK is one of them, there will be one, and then you can claim a tax credit against the one country against the other. Now, in some situations, you might be taxed, say, 30% in Sweden, for argument's sake, and then you're taxed in the UK at 20%. You go, I get a tax credit from Sweden, but that tax credit might only be limited to 10%. So you might pay another 10% in the UK on top of that.
So it's complex.
So it's very complex.
For clarity.
That's why he pulled that face.
For clarity, when we leave, we're not coming back. There's going to be no grey area for us.
We will not be a tax resident in the UK.
No.
I don't blame you. So when you said you was going to answer that, Matty, I was like, that's a spicy question. Most accountants wouldn't be able to answer that unless they specialise.
Do you want another one, Paula, or have you got more questions, or are you out of questions now? Because I've got
you carry
piles
on.
of them.
I do want to say, though, that Liam's saying that, Jamie, you look like Penfold.
Yeah, I've just Googled
Michael's saying
it.
that as well.
I don't know where that's come from. Right, what about what if a person... Oh, this is a good one. Have we covered it? Have we covered that? What if a person loses their tokens, i.e. no longer has access to them? It may be seen as a disposal in HMRC's perspective, but is it a loss from the individual's part? How do I deal with this? And I should imagine if he's writing it that, it's probably him, right? So this person has probably lost access to the crypto. And maybe see, there's a couple of different things by lost access, because sometimes people say that, and when you dig a bit deeper, they've been robbed quite often.
So it depends. If you no longer have beneficial ownership in the tokens, it's a disposal. So it's a gain or a loss. It's as if you sold it, if you like, for whatever it might be, at market value, likely. And then you need to go, right, can I make an NVC because against the receipt to receive it, depending on the situation. So, for example, maybe you put something into Celsius and then it went bust. So although you still had your Ethereum, you're not making an NVC against Ethereum because you can't do that, but you can against the receipt to receive the Ethereum. So in the best case scenario here for you, it would be a disposal and then a write-off simultaneously. The best case. Again, it depends why you have no longer access to it. Were you robbed? Was it forced? Did you forget it? Did you, it's big difference depending on the situation.
Jamie, what happens if you bought Bitcoin and you put it into a wallet and then you can no longer access it because you can't find the computer that you have got the login access to, and you've got no idea how to get it back? What happens in cases like that?
Paula, that burns. Do we have to do that? That fucking burns. I'm going to swear.
I didn't even mention any names. But I was just interested in that situation. So there is also that guy, isn't he, that's desperately trying to find his laptop in the landfills, and he's been looking at it for years. But things like that do happen to people. People buy crypto, put it on a wallet.
That would never happen to me.
Okay, that did happen to you. I wasn't going to shame you like that, but that did happen to you. What happens in situations like that, Jamie?
I would, again, if it's significant, I would perhaps write to HMRC, explain the situation. And what could happen is you'd make an NV claim, perhaps. So you'd say, let's say you bought it for, say you got £50,000 worth.
What happens if you don't know, though? What happens if you don't know what price you bought it at? Or especially with Bitcoin, you're not buying one Bitcoin anymore, are you? Because it's so expensive. You're buying like 0.0 something of a Bitcoin, and you're not sure what the numbers are. How do you go about that situation?
I know exactly what the number is.
I know.
And if you don't know what it is, that's the whole point of getting someone like myself to come in and get involved, because we can calculate that, because it's on the blockchain. As long as we've got the address, or in this case, the extended public key, because it's Bitcoin, we should be able to figure it out ourselves.
But what if you haven't got the address?
You'd be able to find it somewhere. You just can't find. You just don't know the address.
Jamie, it's 60 Bitcoin. If it was possible, I'd have found it by now.
So you bought 60 Bitcoin somewhere. Did you buy it cash, or was it a transfer? Transfer. Okay. Where did you transfer it from?
I can't say on it.
Okay, but you do know that. You know where you transferred it from, is what I'm saying.
No.
Well, in that case, you need to figure it out.
Mate, you think I haven't tried? Listen, I'm emotionally okay with it now, because I've exhausted everything that I possibly could. So it is what it is.
Okay. Well, if you ever want a forensic to go through it, let me know, because I'm not saying we can. I'm just saying there's a chance. There is a chance. It won't be cheap, but there is a chance.
I'm
and
okay
that's
with
up to
it.
you.
We are where we are.
Listen, I actually.
Are you sure?
I'm not saying this because I think we need to go and chase that. I'm saying it because I think this is a situation that a lot of people will find themselves in, because people do buy crypto and they do put it on a random wallet, and then they do lose access to that wallet, and then they won't really know what they've bought or what the price that they've bought it. And then do they just go head in the sand, I'm going to forget about it, because maybe it wasn't that much, or maybe they don't think it's important, or do we need to actually do some more in-depth stuff?
I would go as close to it as possible. So we go, right, these are the wallets that you have. Where did it come from? Can we see, maybe there's a random wallet, you go, oh, I forgot I had that from, and I've realized that because of the work that we're doing with Jamie. And then we go, oh, where did this Bitcoin go to? Why did I see a disposal of £10,000 worth of USDC in this decentralized exchange, and I can't see what you received for it? And then you go, oh, that is what happened with that, say, 60 Bitcoin, for example. And then we can check on the blockchain and use certain tools and scanners to see if that transaction happened. And if it does, we can then go, okay, so we can now prove that you bought that, and see how we go in this situation, how that could work. And this is something that we do all the time with clients, where we say, oh, is this your wallet? Oh, yeah, that is our wallet. I forgot about that. I just couldn't find it, but that is definitely my wallet now that I've looked into it. Or it's a case of, we've seen at least 2 or 3 times a year, we go, oh, did you know you've got 3 ETH, for example, stuck in this protocol? Did you want to pull that out? And they're like, oh, thank you. It's like, it happens
But that does happen, doesn't it? And people have crypto that they have completely forgotten that they've even got.
Yeah, and if you've forgotten about it, you can't do anything, then it is what it is. You know, you can't prove it, you can't do anything about it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, ready for the next one?
Yeah.
How much time you got, Jamie?
I'm going live on X in half an hour, so I got half an hour more if you want it.
Yeah, man. Get rid of that one. Right, what about this one?
You'll be exhausted by the end of all these lives.
We've covered that one already.
The last 2 days have been rough, but good fun.
There you go.
Good.
Oh, it's been budget week. That's like a tax accountant's nightmare week.
Yes.
But good for content, bro. That's why you're here, right? So it's good for content.
Exactly.
As the limit on tax-free crypto is 3K, does this consider / include realised and unrealised gains?
It is
The limit
only
on
realised gains and losses.
Yeah, on your
It's
capital
only
gains.
realised gains and losses. Yes. So you take the net difference. So say you made a £7,000 realised gain and a £4,000 realised losses. You take the difference. It's £3,000 or under, then you're fine.
Awesome.
If you left crypto in a will, is it taxable when they cash out in years to come? That's a really complex question, I think, that, isn't it? How do you leave it in a will? Do you mean like you own it, you die, and he's saying you can take my...
I've left you my wallet, and there's my key.
There's my key. Crack on.
Yeah.
So this is, again, I don't like talking about inheritance tax.
Jamie's face.
Yeah, I can't talk about this.
Actually, you watched the pain in his head as he was rubbing his eyes at the thought of that question. That was marvellous. I might clip that. Because that was excellent. Like, he hated it.
It literally needs these questions.
More questions that make
before
Jamie
it gets
pull
into
that
it.
exact expression is what I want. Get that in the comments now.
So the problem is, whether you can access the crypto or not is part of the estate when you pass, which I believe at the moment is around about 40% tax. So if it's in your will and it's outside exemptions and all sorts, let's say you've got £100,000, £40,000 will be due whether you dispose of the assets or not, for starters. It would then uplift the crypto assets value from said, to that £100,000 amount as the probate value, which would then be inherited by whoever's in the will. And then at that point, it becomes a normal situation where if you were to dispose of the assets for, say, 150,000, you have a base cost of 100,000, so on and so forth. So it's very complicated. And to be honest with you, this is the biggest problem because say you've got a husband and wife situation. No, say you've got a situation where someone passes away with £100,000 worth of crypto, and the estate would be, say, taxed at 40%, £40,000 on that particular element. That is due regardless of if you can access that crypto or not. And in a lot of cases, they won't be able to because most people self-custody or have, seed phrases, private keys scattered somewhere. And if someone passes without giving that access to someone legal, a guardian, whatever it might be, they can't dispose of the assets. So the actual estate itself would be down, say, in this case, £40,000 without the ability to obtain it. So this is why this is the biggest problem with inheritance tax and crypto, and one of the many reasons why I stay away from it completely. I have a friend who's very good at this. I leave it all to her. But yeah, it's, oh my God, that question opened up a can of worms, I tell you.
Absolutely. And I just want to kind of jump on the back of that a little bit, just to say, with the Tangem cold store wallets, they come with at least 2 cards which act as your seed phrase. You don't need to write stuff down on pieces of paper to rely on people being able to access that if anything happens to you, but just make sure that you've got cards in places or with people that are trusted, that if you do want to pass your crypto down, if anything happens to you, if the worst happens to you, that they know what to do with them, they know how to access that crypto. Because it sounds like if it is part of your estate, they are going to be liable to pay the tax on whatever's there, even if they can't get hold of it. So do think about that. If you're holding crypto, you've got it in a wallet, can other people access it if the worst happened?
So I'd like to give some advice on that, and it's advice that I think is good practice. If you've got an estate or crypto, which is part of your estate, which is significant, and think about putting your spare Tangem card or one of them into a bank vault. Because if it's significant enough to you be worrying about when you die, then it might be significant enough to worry about in case you had any problems. So having that in a bank vault as part of your will, where the executors know about the access to that key and all the rest of it, is a smart move, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just get a lawyer. They'll sort all that out for you as well.
The lot,
Yeah.
mate. It's no different to people that hold gold. It's the same drill, isn't it? Where's it going to be? Where's it locked up? Because it's probably not sat on your mantelpiece, right? It's the same thing. Well, actually, I know somebody that has got gold hidden in the ashes of his mother. Do you remember that person? Don't say who on here. Do you remember? They've got the gold hidden in the urn with the ashes, thinking that somebody would never rob that. Or well, they're probably right. They wouldn't. So, so there you go. That's a thing. Right. Should I go for another question?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. This is a Wolfpack member. This is Stephen. Is there any crypto which is not taxable? This is a question that I've only ever seen cropping up since the US have announced that potentially they're going to have tax-free crypto if it's American-based. That hasn't happened yet. It hasn't come to fruition, but the Americans are already making noises of it. Tax-free on American homegrown crypto.
I can see Jamie going through his internal filofax in his brain there.
Good one.
No, is as far as I'm aware. Now, stablecoins are taxable, but the tax will be very minimal, and that's the closest thing that will do it.
Yeah.
Lovely. We've got another one here. Another question. You ready? This one, can I read this one in total? Because I think I like it. Please, if I don't take out my initial investment, is my initial investment... Sorry, start again. Quick question, please. If I only take out my initial investment, is my initial investment a taxable event? Hand pink waving, hand pink waving, hand pink waving, hand pink waving.
Should we ignore this question for just for the lols? So what Paul Brown is talking about here is if you put in £10,000, it goes up to £40,000, and you take out £10,000. Is that taxable? On my TikTok, I think my pinned TikTok on there, the first one perhaps, explains exactly how this is to be dealt with. The answer is yes, it is taxable, but it depends on the situation. So if you put in £5,000 and you take out £5,000, but the whole thing is worth £5,000, then it's not taxable. But if you put in £5,000, take in £5,000, but the whole thing is worth £1 million, then it's a completely different situation. It's to do with the base cost as a percentage of what the total is at the point of disposal. But so it's
about the cost of the coin, not about the value of your withdrawal.
Yeah. So if you buy one coin for £1, and then you sell half a coin for £10, that base cost would be 50p. So you got a £9.50 gain. Whereas if you sold it all for £10, then there's a £9 gain. You see how it depends on just more questions. But my very first pinned TikTok, I believe, addresses exactly this and gives you an example.
Nice. This is a good question, this one. I think I know the answer. I'll let you do it.
Right. Can you take 18,000 of gains and put it into an ISA and not be taxed, or will you have to pay tax before I move it?
Got to be at the disposal. Got to be when you go into fiat. Surely that's a taxable event. Got to be. I'm going taxable event when you sold it.
And also, they've just changed the legislation yesterday in the budget, haven't they, about what sort of ISA you can put into. So you can only now put a certain amount into a cash ISA. The rest of it has to go into stocks and shares ISAs.
Yeah, so I can't remember when they're changing it. I don't know if it's 26 or 27. £12,000 is the maximum you can put into a cash ISA, but you can put up to £20,000 into a stocks and shares ISA. But the total you can put in across any of them altogether is £20,000 in total.
Did you see yesterday what they said about the ISAs, about getting rid of the amount that you can have tax-free? They mentioned that yesterday. I didn't catch the exact figure, but they're reducing the amount. That you can still put your 20 grand in, but it's about the amount that's tax-free. They're going to reduce it.
Yeah, I'll wait to see what they do. But yeah, so can I... Okay, so I have to break this down because it's a little bit... Can you take £18,000 of gains and put it into an ISA? Yes, you can do that. And not be taxed? No, you will be taxed. Or will I have to be pay tax? Yeah, so once you create the gains outside of a tax-free wrapper, you have to pay those gains. If you then put the proceeds into an ISA... From that point onwards, if it's a tax-free ISA, if this is within the parameters, any subsequent gains or interest or whatever it makes would be tax-free. So it is taxable. It then becomes non-taxable once it's in the ISA.
That's a great answer.
So I think it goes back to the point that you made earlier. He can't be trusted with that.
Sounds like your answer.
So you know. But just so what you were saying earlier, if the amount of your crypto is going down, then that's indicating that you're disposing of it. So if your amount of Bitcoin, or use Bitcoin, if the amount of Bitcoin you hold is less, that is a point of a taxable event.
Quite likely a taxable event, yes.
Yeah.
Next question.
Should I sell and rebuy my tokens? Then can my losses be entered for the tax year?
Yes, but you cannot rebuy them within 30 days. Otherwise, that 30-day bed and breakfasting rules, part of Section 104 pooling mechanism, comes in, and you will reverse everything you do. So, for example, let's say you're sitting on £10,000 worth of losses. If you were to dispose of the assets to crystallize the £10,000 of losses, assuming the markets don't move at all, and then you buy them back, you will revert those £10,000 losses completely if it's done within 30 days. However, if you wait 30 days and do it, you're fine.
Nice.
It's a bonus tip.
Yeah.
It's a bonus tip to make use of the confusion with HMRC. ETH and wrapped ETH, as far as I'm concerned, are considered two separate asset classes, although they are pegged to each other, which means that you could, in theory, if you wanted crystalline losses on your ETH, move it to wrapped ETH, still be exposed to ETH value.
You can hear my dog drinking out of his water bowl.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
He's got a chain around his neck and it's banging on the water bowl. He doesn't understand streaming etiquette. He doesn't get it.
He also snores on the stream. So guys, if you've watched our live streams,
he's like, I don't care.
He's a loud snorer.
Crypto Dog, when we're on a stream, he's like, I don't care. I'm thirsty. I know it makes a noise and I don't care. So that's up to him. It's fine.
But he's also deaf now, so he probably can't hear the banging.
Yeah, he can't hear it. He can't. To be fair, he is deaf. Crypto Dog is deaf. Okay, right. We've done that one. What about this one?
Can you transfer crypto directly into stocks and shares, ISA, or any other stocks and shares device, e.g. EFT? Well, ETF. I'm going to take a punt. Oh, sorry. ETF. I'm going to take a punt, Jamie, that if you are disposing of your crypto to then put it in somewhere else, then that triggers a taxable event.
Before you answer, I think what they're hoping is there's a way of not disposing and transferring. That's a wonderful idea. And I wonder if one day, if that doesn't exist, whether there's some of the big institutions will invent that, because that's actually really smart. But I don't think that exists, because I think I would have already spotted it.
So, yeah, right now, I don't think it exists. I see where they're coming from. Ultimately, I'd need to figure out if in an ISA, it's still yours, or if it's the ISA's, if that makes sense, to determine if there's a beneficial loss, a loss of beneficial ownership for starters, and then go, okay, that's the case, whichever way it is, and then, okay, can you do that yourself? As far as I'm aware, I don't think you can just yet. Great idea, though.
I think it's a wonderful
Jamie,
idea.
can I just ask you, and this is a personal question, not a comment, about the changes with the not ETFs but the exchange traded notes that I understand that you can hold in ISAs.
So ETNs can be held in ISAs and pensions, as far as I'm aware, and because there are now you can get ETNs exposed to crypto. You could, in theory, purchase crypto in a tax-efficient wrapper, i.e. ISAs or pension funds. Brilliant. Fantastic. Problem is, ETNs, the exchange-traded notes, aren't actually... They're a debt instrument, so you don't actually own, say, the Bitcoin itself. You just own a debt for it, which, from at least my followers across all platforms, when I announced this, not a single one cared. Every single one that commented said, I'd rather pay my taxes and hold my crypto myself. So
yeah, fair enough. I guess you leave yourself the exposure then if one of those facilities that are owning the crypto on your behalf goes down, then yeah, that's the worry.
Yeah.
But is that not the same of any of the assets you would hold in a ETN?
Yeah.
ETF.
Okay.
Oh,
no, an ETN.
Sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it absolutely is. But self-custody over your shares in Apple isn't quite as big a deal as self-custody over your Bitcoin. You know, it just feels a little bit different.
Yeah.
So we've had this question multiple times, but I guess people are joining now that weren't here at the beginning. So Go for it.
If I'm already a high rate employee, could a limited company be set up and then I take dividends?
Yes. The question is, would you want to? Depends on your situation. Probably not.
And the reason he's saying that, by the way, we covered it earlier on, is because, first of all, when you transferred it to your company, that's classed as a disposal. So your tax is due at that day when you transfer it to your company, because it's no longer in your ownership. And plus the way that business taxes work, by the time you've added it all up, it could be more than what you're going to pay anyway. If you're a high rate tax payer, then it probably gets a bit closer. But from what we're getting is, it depends on your actual circumstance. And I think what I'm learning about this very question is that it's not a straight answer. And if it's something that you genuinely want to do and you've got net worth in crypto that's worth thinking about, then go and talk to the man.
I have been doing this since 2019, and I've seen thousands and thousands of people, and a lot of them ask this. Only 2 have we actually incorporated in the UK.
Wow. Like,
it's very rare. It's possible to be better, but it's very rare.
I don't want my crypto in the UK. I want to get it out of the UK at the earliest opportunity, pretty please. That is definitely the plan. Yeah. So I think we're now out of questions. So what would you guys like to do? Should we have a little bit of a natter, wrap up, and then let Jamie whip off to
absolutely
next
good.
interview over on X? I think that was really good. I think that was some really good, thoughtful questions. I often say this. So TikTok is fantastic for views, no doubt about it. But the comments can actually just be full of idiots. But actually, whenever we do the tax ones on TikTok, actually they drag out some real sensible questions. And what I'm noticing over here on YouTube is we've got no trolls, not one. I mean, a couple have called you Penfold, but I think they're just being truthful rather than trolling. But on a whole, I think it's a really good audience over here. And what I'm learning is actually that YouTube is a really good space to do things like this on live streams. So we can't do this every week, every month, Jamie, but I'd love to have you back again for another YouTube in the future, especially if we start getting things cropping up about rule changes. If we start getting drift of the landscape changing, the government hinting at slight changes, particularly around capital gains tax, which I think is going to be on. The exit tax is going to be the next one that crops up. I would suggest we do another one of these and cover those subjects. But again, open it out to viewers for their questions, because as me and you now know, Jamie, we've probably done about 10 of these, I should imagine. The questions repeat because the questions that are most prominent on people's mind tend to be on people's mind en masse. So we get a lot of these questions, which is why I'm getting so good at answering the questions, man, because I've done this. I've been down this road with Jamie so many times that I'm kind of learning. It's improved my knowledge. I think my knowledge was okay before I met Jamie, but now I think my knowledge is really good. I think it's really good, and I really appreciate you.
You'll get the hang of it. There'll be a complete overhaul and everything will change.
Yeah, that's normally what happens, isn't it? There is a couple of extra questions that have come in. One of them says, if when staking, you don't withdraw the yield, is it always a taxable event at the point of receiving the yield? And does this mean you are double taxed as you get taxed on the profit when you sell?
Okay, let's answer it backwards. Not double tax. So let's say you receive £10 worth of something. That first £10 will be under the income tax regime as staking income. And then if you sold it for £12, you don't get £12 worth of capital gains. It's £2 because you've already paid taxes up to £10. It just happens to be under the income tax regime.
Awesome.
So it's double tax, but it's not overlapped. The first question is when. So the question basically asks when is it considered my asset? Is it when I click claim, or is
withdraw?
Is it at the point where it is in over there and says I have the opportunity to claim it? I don't want to answer that on a live because it is very subjective, and we have, what can I say? We have spoken to HMRC about this in the past. And we have suggested a way, and they've agreed it. I just don't want to say out loud in case they've changed their mind.
Okay. Yeah. No, I respect that. But listen, I would suggest that it's probably a conversation away from the live that you could have with Jamie about that, if that's something that is relevant to you. And
One more question.
Another one here. Does the use of a VPN affect tax returns?
I want to answer this one because I believe that this is the same thing that people were saying 6 months ago, because everybody was talking about Dubai, when they're saying, if I fly to Dubai and if I sell my Bitcoin there, does that mean I don't pay UK tax? And I think this is the same question repackaged, right? Because he's probably thinking, my VPN is going to say I'm in Argentina, therefore I'm not purchasing it in the UK. And it's the same. It doesn't matter where you buy, sell. It doesn't matter. It's about where you're a tax resident. And if you're a UK tax resident, it don't matter where you buy and sell. I think that's what the guy's getting at. And it's the same question as the people that say, I'm going to fly to Dubai and sell my Bitcoin, because it doesn't matter then. It's tax-free in Dubai. But only if you're a Dubai tax resident. If you're a Brit in Dubai selling your crypto, that's taxable in the UK. Just because you did it on holiday doesn't make a blind bit of difference.
Yeah, pretty much spot on. I suppose the other angle that I think is more likely where they're coming from is, hi, I've used a VPN I shouldn't have done. I probably shouldn't have been able to make that trade in the UK, but I did. Is it still taxable? The answer is yes. Even for that, it's still taxable. It makes no difference if you use a VPN for either Matt's angle or this other potential angle. There is actually a really weird, I need to memorize this. There's a weird piece of legislation that basically says, in a nutshell, even if you have illegally sourced those funds, you still have to pay taxes on it.
They're still your funds.
Yeah, you still taxes due. It's like a really weird piece of law that makes no sense, because obviously there's bigger issues if it's illegal. But yeah, so same thing on a smaller case of VPNs. Just it makes no difference whatsoever to your tax situation.
Ooh,
yeah. Listen, I think we could keep going through, because there will be comments coming through. But the reality is we can't answer everything. Jamie's got to go and do a live on X in a few minutes. And I just want to take this opportunity to thank you, Jamie. Somebody in the comments also saying thank you a lot, Jamie. Your knowledge is much appreciated. It really is. And listen, we make the content about subjects like this, but we're not the experts. So to have somebody that can come in and answer your questions directly is invaluable, I think. And I really appreciate you taking the time to do that with us today.
Man, it's been awesome, Jamie. So thank you again.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's a well-trodden path for me and you to do that, but it's awesome to be able to do it with Paula Talks Crypto as well. We can't wait to get you back to do more content in the future.
Yeah.
Don't we have something in the Wolfpack in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, December 9th, something like that. It's a Tuesday. Let me have a look now. I'll tell you right now.
I just want to jump on and say, if you're not part of the Crypto Wolfpack, go and have a look at it. But we've also created a free lift-off course. So if you are interested in crypto trading, holding, whatever, go to the link that's in the description of the video. It's completely free. The feedback that we've had from that has been unbelievable. People have paid thousands for courses and haven't got as much information as they got from the free course that we're offering. So if you haven't signed up for that, go and have a look. The link's in the description. Well done, Matt. It's awesome. So yeah, go and have a look.
We've got some great comments.
Thank you for having me, guys. Genuinely a pleasure.
You're welcome.
I guarantee
have been really, really high quality, technical.
Yeah. Our audience is awesome. I guarantee you're going to head over to Xspace now. Not going to be as good as this. You're going to be like, I should have done an extended one over on YouTube with MilkshakeMatty and Paula Talks Crypto. That's what you should.
Hey, here might say, you know what? I might as well just tune into that while I'm here.
So he says Jamie is a superstar, and we'll end on that. I agree. Jamie is a superstar.
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate
you. Right then, we're off then. See you later, guys.
Right, guys. Thank you so much. Take care.